Previously, in The Old Enemy.
Come on, St Mary's! Come on, Saints!
I hate wet farts. Hello, my name's Bill Mainwood.
My name's Turner Wilkes. Nice to meet you, Bill. Welcome to St Mary's Sanctuary. Now then, there's two problems for you to fix, Bill. First, no one else has joined me up here, and second, I haven't been able to see any new games since 1898.
I'm going to make everything wonderful for you. I won't be long.
Christ! What the hell just happened? My name's Bangy Harrison. Where am I?
Hornet Heaven. The Old Enemy. Written by Ollie Wicken. Read by Colin Mace. Earth Season 2022-23. Part 2. In St Mary's Sanctuary, Turner Wilkes rushes to the doorway of St Mary's Church. He sees Bangy Harrison.
Hello? Hello?
Ah, you've decided to show yourself. Good. Be nice if Gino Pozzo did the same one day. Turner has no idea who Gino Pozzo is, but he watched Bangy Harrison play for St Mary's for many years, and he's never been as pleased to see Bangy as he is now.
My name's Turner Wilkes. Welcome.
Bangy's in his late 50s, grey-haired with a grey moustache, and he's wearing a double-breasted suit. He's also looking a bit perplexed to be here, as well he might, since a moment ago he was in Hornet Heaven at an old game, checking to see if Bill Mainwood had gone inside a wooden changing hut.
Saint Bangy is in the sanctuary. Welcome.
Eh? What sanctuary? Turner points to the sign on the wall.
St Mary's Sanctuary, the afterlife of the greatest football team ever.
Oh, right, I get you. Same basic idea as our place. Okay. Ha, greatest football team ever.
It's great to see you, Bangy. There's only me and you here so far, but Bill's already working his magic, so there's bound to be thousands of us in a few minutes.
You mean you've been in this heaven on your own? For how long?
126 years.
What?
It's so good to see you, Bangy. You're going to love it here. You can go to all the old games. Well, up until 1898 you can, anyway. Then something broke, and there's been no new games since then.
Something broke? In 1898? Well, I suppose you could put it like that.
It's all right, though, because there's someone on the case. Maybe you've seen him about. Wears a white coat. Bill Mainwood.
Oh, Bill came here, did he?
Yes, and he's literally changing my world, Bangy. It's so good you're here. I can't believe there's two of us now.
Just the two of us. Me and you. Perfect. Turner can't understand why Bangy isn't completely thrilled to be in a St Mary's afterlife. Maybe it hasn't sunk in yet.
Seriously? It's amazing here, Bangy. You can go and watch our first ever game in 1885. You can watch us win the St Mary's Cup in 1891.
Heavens alive. Major silverware.
We won the final 12-1. You must remember, you scored 8.
This seems to get through to Bangy a bit. OK, I do remember that, actually. The other team were crap, but 8 goals is 8 goals. Are you saying I could go back and watch that?
You can watch all the goals you ever scored for us. Over 100. Shall we go now? This is so exciting.
OK. I suppose I could take a look while I'm here.
Great. Let's go.
Turner leads Bangy through the nave towards the Essex Chapel. He's thrilled to have a Saints player in his heaven. If he's honest, though, Bangy Harrison wouldn't have been his first choice, he thinks to himself. Bangy was a great servant of Watford St Mary's for many years, but he did blot his copybook halfway through his career. Treachery can put you off a footballer, and Bangy spent the 1893-94 season playing for wet farts. But he won't mention it today, he decides. It was just a year, and Bangy did return to the fold after his aberration. Today is a day for making friends.
So, how are you, Bangy?
Oh, dead.
And what have you been doing with yourself all these years? Where have you been?
In a different heaven.
Oh, right. Yes, I suppose they must exist for people who have other interests, like, I don't know, marbles or tiddlywinks.
Actually, it was...
But you can forget about anywhere else now, Bangy. Now that Bill's fixed the mechanism, St Mary's supporters can all join me here. It's going to be perfect. Forever.
As they walk past empty pews, Turner imagines the rows fill with St Mary's supporters at last. In his mind's eye, he can see generations of saints happily chatting about the latest results and making jokes about wet farts. But the pews in his mind suddenly empty when Bangy says, "Except there's something you obviously don't realise. I've been with the other St Mary's supporters all along." Turner stops. He stares at Bangy.
What?
In the other heaven.
Wait, you're telling me there's been another St Mary's sanctuary for the last 125 years?
Yes. Well, sort of. It's not called that, but
everyone's been in another one. Well, I've been on my own, in this broken one.
Turner blinks. Hard. Again and again. He's finding this hard to process. Turner stops blinking.
That's...
His eyes grow wide.
That's brilliant news.
Bangy says, "Good. Glad you think so. You'll definitely prefer the other place to here. It's got decent football, well, mostly. Definitely not over Christmas against Millwall and Swansea. Bilic needs to get a grip."
Let's go there. Now.
Turner can't wait to meet 126 years' worth of other St Mary's fans. There might be friends and family.
So, how do we get to this other heaven? Back the way you came? How did you leave the other heaven?
It was through some kind of portal at an old match at the Bog.
Gordon Bennett, I've been to every game ever at the Bog, hundreds of times. I never saw anything that looked like a portal.
You never saw anything that looked like football either.
Come on, let's go and find the portal. Which match is it at?
One of the derbies with West Hearts.
Of course. It would have to be. Come on, follow me.
Turner takes Bangy through to the Essex Chapel and puts numbers on the hymn board to take them to the Watford derby that Bangy has told him the portal is at. They arrive through the ancient turnstile at the Bog. St Mary's are in their blue and white stripes, and West Hearts are in their amber and claret stripes. As usual, the home crowd is simmering with hostility, and the stench of sewage drifts downwind. Turner has a broad smile on his face. At long last, he's got a chance to get a chant going, now that he's got a Saints fan with him on his side of the astral plane. He shouts,
"You Saints!"
Bangy joins in.
"You Horns!"
Turner says,
"You what?"
The moment jolts him. It's enough to make him wonder whether Bangy actually supports St Mary's. And this reminds him that Bangy played for the enemy for a season, back in 1893-94. It reopens the wound. His excitement subsides. He decides to broach the subject. He's always wanted to hear that Bangy regrets his crime. Now can be the moment. A full apology in triplicate can come later. As Bangy leads them towards the wooden changing hut he says is the portal, Turner says casually,
"I was thinking, Bangy, do you remember the 1893-94 season?"
"Not for the quality of the football, that's for sure. Why'd you ask? What happened?" The facts of the season aren't a happy memory. Turner reminds Bangy, in as matter-of-fact a way as he can manage.
We folded because we ran out of money. It turned out to be only for a season in the end, but there wasn't a Watford St Mary's for a year.
I don't remember. You're probably right. Turner doesn't like how indifferent Bangy sounds.
I'm definitely right.
Okay. I suppose it does sort of ring a bell. Maybe. Turner can't believe the 1893-94 season isn't burned into Bangy's mind. He can still feel the hole that was left in his own life down on earth when St Mary's folded for a year.
Till I just mentioned it, you'd forgotten?
Sure, but what's this about? What's the problem? Turner grabs Bangy's sleeve. They stop walking. Turner hasn't even got onto the fact that Bangy played for West Arts. He can't get past this new revelation.
How could you forget? That was the worst year of my life down on earth.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but
I thought the club was gone for good. It was a terrible time. I was lost without St Mary's. It stood for everything I believed in, and it went out of business. It just stopped existing. I don't understand, Bangy. How could you have forgotten what happened to the Saints in 1893-94?
Because it isn't in the other heaven, I suppose.
And it isn't in this heaven either, obviously, because there was no games to go and watch. But that doesn't mean I could forget it.
Turner searches Bangy's face for some sign of remorse.
Did you really forget, Bangy?
Bangy says, Look, do you want to go and meet all the other Saints supporters or not? Bangy glances at Turner as they carry on towards the wooden changing up. This Turner Wilkes is a bit intense, he thinks to himself. To be fair, the guy has been a castaway for more than 100 years and could easily have gone mad, so in many ways he's doing quite well, really. But Turner's like a lot of modern-day football fans. He insists on impossible standards. Just now he seemed to be wanting an apology for not caring enough from the player who's stuck with Watford St Mary's longer than any other. Supporters are ridiculous, Bangy thinks to himself. Players will never care about a club as much as a fan does. And it's not the players' fault. In 2023, Watford Football Club's business strategy is to move players on for the best price, which turns them into mercenaries, not loyal clubmen. When Gino Pozzo was turning a handy profit by flogging Emmanuel Dennis to Nottingham Forest, Dennis was never going to burst into tears and beg to stay. In his own day, Bangy reflects, player loyalty barely existed. In fact, some players were registered to more than one club at the same time. In 1895, Fred Robbins played for at least 3 different teams. West Arts in friendlies, Northfleet in the Kent League, and them from up the road in the Southern League. And there were lots of overlap between Watford St Mary's and West Arts. Freddie Sargent, the biggest name at West Arts, played for St Mary's once, and Harry Culverhouse, the St Mary's captain, played for West Arts more than a dozen times. Players would take their boots wherever they were wanted. Which means the conversation just now was completely unfair, Bangy tells himself. Players have never been as partisan as fans, so of course he doesn't recall the backdrop to 1893-94. Fans might memorise events and obsess about petty trivia, but you just can't expect a player to remember every last detail of what happened in what year. Bangy arrives at the changing hut with Turner in tow. He stares at the hut. He frowns. It isn't pulsating. He says to Turner, Sorry, right derby, wrong season. This time, Turner and Bangy arrive at the correct Watford derby at The Bog, the one in March 1896. The crowd around the ropes are jeering and swearing. Scuffles are breaking out. The atmosphere is toxic, and not just because of the fumes coming from the sewer end. Turner is disappointed with Bangy for forgetting about St Mary's folding and not being able to tell one Watford derby from another. But he still wants to be friends. He perks himself up and shouts, You Saints! Come on, Bangy, join in. You saints! As they walk towards the correct wooden changing hut, Turner looks for positive topics of conversation. He gestures towards the St Mary's players on the pitch as they line up for kick-off and asks,
So which of these saints will I be meeting in the other heaven, Bangy?
Bangy points towards the goal St Mary's are defending. Well, you've got the goalkeeper, Billy Brunt.
Great, I love Billy. He was so brave to play again after getting all those scars on his face when he fell off a ladder.
True.
But I wasn't so keen when he went off to play for the Toffs for a while. What he did was far worse than you.
Yes. I was wondering when you were going to bring that up.
I mean, Billy played for the enemy against us in a Hearts County Cup semi-final. The Judas.
But I love him really, even though he was a wet fart.
Oh, what? Keep going. Who else will I meet in the other heaven?
Bangy points at several other players in the St Mary's team. Joe Penny, John Brandon, me of course, Bobby Slaughter.
Ha! You're worrying me now. They all played for Wet Farts at some point.
Oh, you mean West Hearts. Yes, they did. That's why they're in a heaven that's...
Bobby Slaughter definitely loved the Saints, though. Do you remember when the Toffs threw money at him to sign for Wet Farts as a professional?
He refused to play for them when he heard we'd started paying players too. He wanted to play for us, not them, so he came back. He's a proper saint. Except that in 1898 he...
And what about good old Len Peake over there? I can't wait to meet him. In the last 3 seasons I've watched, he's hardly missed a game.
No, Len isn't in the other heaven.
What? How come?
Because of what brings you to a heaven. You have to love the club.
So you're saying Len didn't love St Mary's?
I can't believe that. No, I'm saying he didn't love Watford.
Eh? You have to love the town that your team's in. This is starting to sound odd. What about Tom Steele over there?
Jolly Steele? Yep, he's in the other heaven.
Right, well, that isn't making me jolly. Tom played for the enemy too, or so I heard. Are you sure it's a St Mary's heaven you've been in? You're making it sound like a Wet Farts heaven.
Well, to be fair...
To be fair what?
It is a West Hearts heaven. Sort of. For the second time in just a few minutes, Turner Wilkes doesn't know what to think. He blinks. He rubs his head.
Wait. You said you've been with St Mary's supporters all this time. St Mary's supporters can't have been in a Wet Farts heaven. Make it make sense, Bangy?
It's all because of what happened in 1898.
In 1898 my heaven broke. How would that make other St Mary's supporters end up in the heaven of a team they don't love? A team they should be despising.
Because of what happened down on earth.
What did happen?
St Mary's and West Hearts amalgamated.
What?
They merged.
No. This can't be.
We're just one club now. Watford Football Club. Turner stares. He's not seeing anything, not hearing anything. He just keeps repeating the word no.
No.
Then he turns and glances at the pitch towards the St Mary's player he's always liked the most, Jack Cother, the fullback. The last Turner knew, Jack had never played for the old enemy.
Jack didn't go along with it, did he? Not Saint Jack. Not my favourite player.
Bangy nods. And Turner collapses. Turner is back in the church after his collapse. He's playing the organ, trying to understand everything that's happened. An amalgamation of Watford St Mary's and West Arts would explain what's been going on in St Mary's Sanctuary, he realises. He told himself that his heaven's mechanism had stopped working, but it wasn't true. In 1898, St Mary's Sanctuary became obsolete, and after that, supporters went to the Heaven for the Merge Club and got to watch all the new club's games there. It makes sense. Awful, terrible, unfair sense. But why didn't the repairman Bill Mainwood tell him this? Bill's obviously from the town because he gave Turner a pin badge with Watford written on it. Surely Bill must have known. Turner feels a long way from accepting events. He hears Bangy say gently, "Are you going to be all right? Will I ever get over the betrayal, you mean? I realise it's a shock, but I don't see how an amalgamation is a betrayal. No. It seems you don't. Seems you never have. Come and try the other heaven. Give it a go. Everyone else loves it. I'm not everyone else. I've got principles." But the amalgamation was a fair arrangement. Fair? What did the Earl of Essex and his gang ever do that was fair? They always made sure their side of the bread was nicely buttered. Well, they probably could have taken the Saints over if they'd wanted, but they gave St Mary's a good crack of the whip. Several players went across, and I got given a seat on the committee. So did Harry Culverhouse. Right. 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 Not just one traitor. 2. That's not fair. It was a union, an alliance for the good of the town, for the good of all of us. Golden Bennett, you're just not getting it, are you? The toffs were bound to be pulling the wool over your eyes by calling it an amalgamation. They'll have claimed it was for the greater good, the good of the town, but all along they'll have been making sure they got their way. I bet the Earl of Essex was behind it, with his cash and connections, feathering the nest for wet farts. Bangy steps away. OK, I think I'm going to go now, Turner. Good. Clear off, you turncoat, you backstabber, you snake. It wasn't like you think, Turner. Of course it was. Tell me, what team do you hate these days? Me? Oh, them from up the road, obviously. Who? The Bedfordshire Bin Dippers. Who? Luton Town. Right. Well, how would you feel if your beloved Watford Football Club amalgamated with Luton Town? Imagine if Luton Town was owned by some wealthy bunch who wanted Watford out of the picture so they could get more money at the turnstile. Turner watches Bangy ponder the prospect for a moment. No. I can't even think about it. Well then, that's why you'll never see me in your heaven. I'm staying put. Goodbye. Turner starts playing the organ again. He notices Bangy is loitering. What are you waiting for? Off you go. Cheerio. Don't bother coming back. But you said you wanted to be with other St Mary's fans. Why don't I go to the other heaven and tell all the other Saints fans about St Mary's Sanctuary and get them to come and visit you here? You'd like that, wouldn't you? You think I'd like hundreds of traitors running around the place? But you must get so lonely on your own. Not lonely enough for that. Hundreds more traitors? It's bad enough just you. Think about it, please, Turner. Please? At least think about joining in with everyone else. It'll be good for you. Turner doesn't want to be told what's good for him by a man who doesn't seem to realise that he's been sleeping with the enemy for 125 years. He sighs. Get out, Bangy. Just get out. Bangy walks slowly to the Essex Chapel on his way back to the portal that will take him back to Hornet Heaven. He mutters, "Calls me a traitor. I gave my all in the St Mary's shirt for more than a decade, and I never showed any favour to West Hearts. Hasn't he been back to watch my punch-up?" In the January 1893 derby, just after half-time, Bangy was chasing a ball over the top and the referee called offside. The West Hearts goalkeeper was Sid King, who'd crossed town having played for St Mary's. He came out to pick the ball up and Bangy charged into him. Sid King thumped Bangy and was sent off. It wasn't just handbags like you see these days. Even the Watford Observer commented on the animosity. It said, "There seems to be some feeling between the goalkeeper and his quondam clubmates." My commitment to the Saints was there in black and white, mutters Bangy to himself. He stops at the ancient turnstile and reflects that Turner's highly principled stand makes him similar to the Manchester United fans who started up FC United of Manchester when their club was being taken over by the Glazer family. Except that FC United fans didn't insist on shutting themselves away and only watching matches they'd already seen hundreds of times before. Turner seems to be taking principle to a whole new level. Or is it tribalism to a whole new level? Turner needs to find a bit of perspective, Bangy thinks. Only then will the poor man be able to accept the happiness that Hornet Heaven offers. Hopefully Bill Mainwood would already have had some ideas about how to help Turner. Presumably Bill's made his way back to Hornet Heaven and...
"I know you haven't gone. I haven't heard the turnstile turn. Get out, you double-crosser, you rat."
Bangy winces at the abuse, but he feels sorrow more than anger. He sets off for Hornet Heaven to find Bill Mainwood.
"And don't come back."
End of part 2. The story will continue in part 3 of The Old Enemy. Hornet Heaven is written and produced by Ollie Wickham. It's read by Colin Mace. If you're interested in historical facts about Watford Football Club's early days and about Watford St Mary's, please visit watfordgold.org.uk. Thank you for listening.